Hey, I'm getting sick, but I'm gonna keep recording these anyway. I was at Toronto International Film Festival and I saw a whole bunch of movies. Let's talk about even more of them. One film I saw was The County, the newest film from the director of Rams, which was on my 2015 list. Much like Rams, this film does a great job of showcasing its Icelandic environment. There are plenty of shots that help you soak in the atmospheric scenery. The film is set in a small farming community and everything feels very genuine. Watching the film, you'd expect that the lead actress would have some sort of a background in farming, but she actually doesn't. She fits the role very well and her performance is really great. There are quite a few noteworthy performances in this movie, and I would say that the acting was probably better than Rams. The first half of this movie is pretty fantastic, but unfortunately as it gets closer towards the ending, it gets a little cliched. Don't really want to spoil anything, so I won't get too specific, but the film kind of loses its personality by the end of it. The soundtrack was also pretty great for the most part, although there were a couple scenes where the tone of the score felt as though it belonged in a different movie. Still, with everything going for this film, I really enjoyed it overall. It's well shot, it's successfully dramatic, the characters are very watchable, so yeah, I'd suggest checking this one out whenever you can, and I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. Another film I saw was Color Out of Space, starring Nicolas Cage. This film is directed by Richard Stanley, and it's based on a short story from H.P. Lovecraft. Now, I know that a decent amount of people were excited for this movie, especially after the release of Mandy. There's a huge market for people wanting to see Nicolas Cage going full Nick Cage in a stylized horror movie. Mandy was not a perfect film, but it certainly delivered in many ways. But this movie is really not good. The acting sucks, the characters suck, nothing's scary, all of the stylistic elements feel incredibly derivative. It just felt like a movie that was trying hard to be other movies. It's like it was trying to be a mix between Mandy, Annihilation, and The Thing, but unfortunately this film was much worse than any of those. If the only thing you're hoping to get out of this movie is just a full Nick Cage moment, then I guess there are a couple short moments in the film that would satisfy you in that sense, but for the most part it's just really boring and unsatisfying. The build-up takes way too long, and by the time it gets to what it was building up to, it's just like, oh, really? Okay. It's really cheesy, and there's nothing all that special about the presentation. It certainly wasn't the most boring movie I saw at the festival, but it was kind of a chore to sit through. Unfortunately, it couldn't really even satisfy me on a so bad that it's good level. It was just a movie that thought it was much cooler than it actually was. Check this one out if you want, but I would not recommend it, and I'm giving this one a 4 out of 10. Another movie I saw was Atlantics, which won the Grand Jury Prize at Cannes Film Festival. This film certainly started out very strong. It looks nice visually, and there were some cool ideas for shots, but unfortunately for the most part it didn't really stick with me much. There are lots of elements to its presentation that I really enjoyed, but the story went from either uninvesting or just kind of ridiculous. There were a few moments, especially near the end of the film, where the audience was laughing, and I do not think the film was trying to be funny. It was kind of awkward, actually. On the plus side, the film certainly feels unique. I did enjoy just how bizarre and weird the concept was, but it didn't really get into that until about halfway through the movie, and also the concept does kind of warrant a few logical questions. I really enjoyed the performances, I really enjoyed the soundtrack, there were a few great shots. Even though this movie wasn't exactly impactful for me, I still enjoyed it from a filmmaking standpoint. I certainly don't regret seeing it, and I plan on watching it again if only to better make my mind up about it. For now, I'd say it's at least worth a watch, and I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. I might change it to a 5 later, who knows? For now, it's a 6. Thank you. Stay tuned for more TIFF quickies and other things, and hopefully my voice doesn't sound like shit next time. We'll see what happens. Thank you. Bye-bye.